Giggle Podtastic on Facebook, broadcasting live every Sunday, 6 p.m. Hosted by Sean P. That's right, Detroit. Get your laugh and giggle on every Sunday, 6 p.m. Sean P. Williams. That's right. They let me jump off. It's lit on Podtastic Facebook every Sunday, 6 p.m. Detroit, get your laugh and giggle on. Let's do it. 6 p.m. Podtastic Facebook every Sunday. Detroit, get ready for the Laugh and Giggle Podcast.
The good engineer Nicole. All right. right. What you gonna say? Hey, welcome to episode 41. We are 41 shows in. All right. I didn't have no co-hosts. I didn't want no other people in the studio. This is my Walter Cronkite moment. This is my Brian Gumbo moment. Anybody else I could think of, I would let y'all know.
As long as it's not Jerry Springer.
Okay, it's not Jerry Springer. and you know what's funny? I used to watch that, but then I grew out of that stage.
All right.
Somebody say he got a judge show now.
Oh, God.
That's what I heard, but I don't watch TV like that.
I could tell you an interesting story about Jerry Springer.
Okay, you want to do it real quick, or you want me to introduce you?
This is your show, man. I'm going to let you do your thing.
All right, we got the mayoral candidate for Detroit and former deputy mayor under Mayor Archer.
Kilpatrick.
I thought you was under. Wow.
No, I never worked for Archer.
Learn something. No, I learned something new every day.
Yeah.
Okay. And I should have brought a picture. I met you a long time ago.
Yes, you did.
And I should have brought the picture at 1515 Broadway.
Yeah.
And that's not there no more.
Yeah, I know it's gone.
Right.
Man. It's just
wow.
We're losing Detroit.
Okay.
But we got to get it back.
My first question: who is Anthony Adams?
Anthony Adams is a public servant, a man who is committed to serving the community, a man who has roots deep in the community, whose children went to DPS, who hangs out in different spots along the city, who's worked in numerous capacities and positions to bring about the betterment of the city of Detroit, a man who was committed to the struggle and committed to progressive leadership in the city of Detroit.
Okay. My first question: what was the biggest crisis for you under the Kilpatrick administration? Because
there was crisis every day.
Right.
I mean, it was the most exciting, dynamic environment that I think you could work for, given the weighty issues that we had. Actually, the first crisis that I had was the Navigator. You remember the Navigator?
And the motorcycle.
Yeah,
I forgot about
the Navigator.
See, bringing back memories.
That was like the first thing. Walking in the door was like, what's this about a Navigator?
Wow.
And really, it was a media trumped up story because he'd already had a Navigator.
Wow.
And so because of how the media spun things back in those days, they always created much more of a crisis, quote unquote. It was a media crisis, a media feeding frenzy. But that was the first crisis. Obviously, the next crisis was the budget issue for the city of Detroit in 2005. The city was facing tremendous financial pressure. There actually was talk about bankruptcy. And what we were able to do, make some very painful cuts, but we were able to keep the city out of bankruptcy. Then there was the election in 2005, major crisis because, to my knowledge, he was the first incumbent not to win a primary. He finished second to Freeman Hendricks.
Wow.
And then the famous phrase was, you got to take it to the streets. It was a conversation that he and I had because he was trying to juggle working the city business and doing the politics. And I said, you can't do both.
Wow.
If you want to win, you got to take it to the streets.
And that's what he did.
He took it to the streets. And then you remember that night was the streets haven't spoken yet. People was proud.
No, let me tell you a classic moment. I went to a party at the mansion.
Okay, not the party.
Not the party.
Okay.
That's what everybody, but I always love to say the story like that. So let me tell my way. He had all the DJs there. He had Ray O'Shea.
Yeah.
He had DJ Fingers, and all of us was there taking pictures, having fun. I said, this is cool, because that was my first time.
Right. At the Manoogian
At the mansion.
Okay.
So I said,
but not the party.
Not the party.
Okay.
And he said, I'm going to win this election.
Right.
I'm going to tell y'all how I'm going to win.
Right.
He said, when they poll the people, they don't poll the people with cell phones.
Exactly.
Never heard of that. Didn't believe it. And he said, I'm going to win.
It was the greatest ground attack I'd ever witnessed in a political campaign.
Wow.
Because he was out of money. After the primary, was totally broke.
Wow.
Had no money. The corporate community had turned their back. A lot of the major financial people had drifted over to Freeman Hendricks' campaign, and so we literally were existing on fumes.
Wow.
But because he was from Detroit, because he had big family in Detroit, he was able to mobilize the resources and the people, and the turnout was absolutely phenomenal. He was able to do what politicians wish they could do, and I'm wishing I can do the same thing.
Okay.
Which is get people who normally don't vote to come out to vote.
So what are you trying to reach, and who are you trying to reach?
I'm trying to reach the 150,000 people who don't vote in the mayor's race. When you look at the numbers and the demographics, you have roughly 100,000 people who tend to vote in the mayor's race every year. 2013, 2017. Hopefully that may be a little different in 2021 because we have universal absentee ballots. But there's a much larger number of people who have not voted in the mayor's race. A large percentage of those are single black women, heads of households who live on the east side. And so we're spending a lot of time on the east side because that's what the action is. If we can pull some numbers out the east side, because of my background, because of my experience, I think I can take a portion of his base, and then we'll see what happens.
Wow. Are you nervous?
No, man, I can't be nervous. I'm guided by faith, man.
Okay.
This is a spiritual journey for me. I'm in it to win it. I believe this is the mission that God has chosen me for, and so I'm not feeling any pain. I don't have any fear. This is not something you can be scared about. You got to be all in, all the time, every day, all day.
Okay.
This is, I think, my 8th event today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we just out here, man.
Okay. What can you bring as mayor that the city has never seen from previous mayors?
I think what they will see is the public servant aspect of what I bring to the table. And what I mean by that is politicians all have a certain skill set and they talk a certain language. But the language that I'm talking is about how we can really impact people's lives, how we can change the fundamental trajectory of how people live in the city of Detroit. How do we bring people together and bring the resources together necessary to help them move and improve the quality of their lives? It is a people-based initiative, which is grounded in my ultimate belief that everybody wants the best to happen for themselves and their children, because that's how I was raised. And so I'm bringing the public servant aspect. I'm a servant leader. What the people want is what they get, and I have to direct the resources to where they want those things to occur.
Okay. If elected, who will be your police chief?
Oh, man. Well, I could say that the guy who just got the chair would not be my chief.
Okay.
He is a guy who led the facial recognition technology issue.
Okay. So you against that?
Totally against that.
Okay.
He is the guy who, when a black officer had a large cash,
I remember that. Yeah.
he led what the officer did wasn't really incorrect. I understand that. You can't arrest the officer because he has cash on him in his possession.
Right.
I think he also was the officer, the officer that was involved in certain issues involving racial situations within the department. And so he is not a person with whom I would have any faith and confidence in. I think there are a lot of people floating around out there.
Okay.
You know, the guy in Southfield
Yeah.
got a real great reputation, and someone who I know.
Okay.
And there's some other people, but
Right.
you know, there's some good internal candidates that we need to lead this department who have history. I don't think we need to go outside to do anything different. I just think we need to, what we do is we need to police ourselves
Right.
fundamentally differently.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Since everything
Everything is on the table, man.
right, and things happen so quickly.
Yes.
The chief, former chief now, or about to be former
Yeah.
chief, he retired.
Yes,
He's a
did.
Republican.
Well, I don't know why. What was the big surprise about that?
Shocked me. I didn't know.
He said they never asked him.
What'd you say?
I actually ran into him. You know, he
Okay.
hangs out at Sinbad's a lot.
Okay.
That's his
Okay.
spot.
Okay. Wow.
And so I walked in. He said, "Hey man, how you doing?" I said, "So you getting ready to run for governor, huh?" "Man, you know, I've been a Republican, man." I said, "Well, as long if you're a Trump Republican, you're gonna get killed in Detroit. I'm just gonna tell you."
Right.
Now, if
But
you're
no, Detroit might not vote. Don't act like Detroit vote all the time.
Man, if he embraces Trump, that's gonna be rough on him.
Okay.
Because we don't mind Republicans, moderate
Because
Republicans.
look at Snyder. He got
Well,
in.
Snyder
'cause
wasn't a moderate. Well, he turned out to be
Well, but I know Detroit don't vote all the time, and I think that's Detroit's biggest problem.
well, we have to vote because when you look at the numbers of people that are actually registered to vote in Detroit, they say there are 500,000 registered voters in the city. But we only had 250,000 vote in the presidential, and we only have 100,000 to vote in the mayor's race. So we got a lot of votes on the table that can influence state policy and state direction. And we've got to vote, but you got to have a leader who constantly preaches that level of engagement, and that's not what we have now.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let me go to this black bomb. How will you help the citizens recover the $600 million over the tax assessment?
Well, we got to get the money back. Let me just say this. And so part of what we have to do is structure a relief program that accomplishes two things. One, we have a lot of people who are still in their homes that were overtaxed. And for those people who are still in their homes, we have to basically give them a credit against their current for future taxes for what the amount of the overassessment was. And so that might be a situation where a person gets 2 or 3 years worth of property tax relief in order to pay back the overpayment, because you can't necessarily find $600 million floating around.
Right.
But you can put up a program that will allow for people who are in their homes to be compensated. For those people that actually lost their homes, I think we've got to set up a sort of an independent commission to determine how we value that loss, because we got to make these people whole. The fact that the current incumbent made no mention of trying to get that done, it's simply as unconscionable from my perspective.
Okay, quick question while we're talking about that. I used to be a homeowner in Detroit. I lost my home.
All right.
I'm at the moment, I'm 50 years old. I don't even care about a home no more.
Well, you should.
But I'm at that stage. I just want to survive, take care of my son, and do the best I can.
Okay.
You know, sometimes our dreams get crushed.
Yeah,
and
but
you just move on. But go ahead.
But see, this is what I'm telling people is that we cannot allow our dreams to be crushed. We've all had very bad experiences in our lives. I mean, that we have to rebound from. And part of what I'm preaching out on the trail all day long is how do we affirm ourselves and the goodness of who we are, because we have been beat down. Our spirits have been crushed.
Yeah.
But we can't continue to allow our spirits to be crushed. We have to begin the process of healing ourselves and moving forward with an agenda that is full of self-empowerment, because that's who we are as a people. We are resilient people. Yeah. Now, if you don't want to own a home, that's okay. I mean, I get it, because I don't own a home. I mean, it's sort of a site condo. I don't have to worry about maintaining my grass.
Right. Who want to cut grass?
Yeah, But I'm saying that we've got so many people in the city that have lost that dream. They've lost the wealth associated with property ownership.
Right.
When you're telling me that 150,000 people lost their homes as a result of tax foreclosures, That's the largest loss of generational wealth that we probably never recover. But we've got to put people back in home ownership positions. We got to restore the credit that people deserve, and we got to make sure that the people are compensated. Now, it's not going to be an overnight. We're going to write a $600 million check.
Right.
But over time, I think we have to make good on that promise, because the people who got overtaxed, a lot of them are still in the city, and they need the relief.
Okay. Good one. I like that. What is your plan for neighborhood revitalization?
Wonderful. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a kibosh on the tax abatements and tax captures that are taking place in downtown, because they are severely hurting the city's financial position, because that tax revenue is lost. We can never recover it. So we got to stop that. The second thing we have to do is we've got to devote much more of our resources in actually funding projects in the community. We have a lot of community organizations. We have a lot of community assistance organizations that are out there actually doing the work. We've got to put the money in the hands of the people who are actually doing the work. I don't need a middle-level bureaucracy to tell me how to spend the money. The money needs to go directly to the people who are actually doing the work. And so my plan is what I call neighborhood empowerment. The dollars will go in the neighborhoods where they're needed. And that means that not all neighborhoods will get the same treatment. Right. Palmerwood, Sherwood Forest, it's not a whole lot of development you can do there. Right. But when you're talking about Morningside, when you're talking about Brightmoor, areas like that, they need commitment, they need resources, and we've got to provide them with it, because those citizens are existing on the margins of society, and we've got to get them involved in life and moving their lives forward and helping their children.
I grew up off of Dexter and Richton.
Okay.
Is that community ever going to come back?
It should. When you look at the amount of land that they have in close proximity to downtown, it certainly is very attractive if you make a focus. You got to have anchors on how you do that. Okay. So you have the seminary, which is still very, very strong over there. You got a lot of vacant schools over there, but obviously would have to be addressed, and maybe there's some transitional housing plans that we need to do. I think that area should be right, because it is very close to Henry Ford. They pushed their development out, but we've got to have development that complements the people who live in the neighborhood, and as well as being in a position to attract other people to live in the neighborhood.
Okay, wow. How would you guard against scandals that have faced so many mayoral administrations in Detroit?
I think, first off, I'm much older than a lot of people that have run.
How old are you?
I'm 65.
Wow, you don't look 65.
I know, that's what everyone said.
I feel it. I'm getting there.
But I have the energy of well, sometimes I have the energy of
you
a
take
guy
a lot
that's 45.
of nap.
Well, no, I take my vitamin supplement. Okay. I take my zinc. I take my vitamin D.
We were just talking about that. Wow.
I take my turmeric.
Okay.
I have some other things. I got a vitamin supplement that I take. Okay. So I try to maintain very healthy. I ride my bike a lot, which is good. I mean, my son.
How many miles you do?
Well, the most I've ever done is like 40.
Okay.
And my son challenges me all the time, because he sends me his stevia bike rides. So yesterday, I think he did 41 miles. He asked me where was I at. Wow. So I try to stay active. You try to obviously get your rest, which is very difficult to do now because you're always up. But you got to have a high level of integrity. And I think the fact that I was able to survive Kilpatrick administration without any scandal, I think speaks to who I am as a person. My record speaks for itself.
Okay, on that note, as a promoter, I just thought you should do a slow roll.
Okay.
What you think?
Yeah.
Ride around the city.
We're doing that. There's a big group. It's a Castech bike riding group. We know a couple of the leaders of that, so we're going to
I can see you out there. You should do that.
Because when you ride through the neighborhoods, you get a much different perspective. I mean, one morning I started off on the east side, went down the Detroit Riverwalk to the Ambassador Bridge.
Wow.
Up the boulevard, up to Warren.
Wow.
Over to Alta Road, back to my house, and I was able to see so much because you see how people really live.
Mm-hmm.
I've been riding my bike early in the mornings, and I see people sleeping in their cars on East Jefferson.
Yeah, that's sad.
I get chased by dogs, so you gotta have your have your spray.
Mm-hmm.
You see people who are homeless. You see people working in the yards early in the morning. I was over on Lakewood riding one day, and the lady was sitting down having a cup of coffee.
Wow.
About 6:30 in the morning. I just stopped and talked to her. I mean, these are the kind of things that
deep.
I enjoy doing because it really grounds you in understanding. Being the mayor of Detroit is an awesome responsibility. Because I'm older, I'm wiser. I understand the importance of what can be lost, because now we're fighting to get back political control of something that we had, and we got to fight like crazy to make that happen.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, wow. I got a few more questions,
No
and
problem.
then we got about 10 minutes before we go to it. About 8 minutes before we go to a commercial.
Okay.
What type of job do you think Governor Whitner is doing? And have you reached out to her yet, or not yet? So that's too
I
far.
have not reached out to her.
Okay.
But I have reached out to some other elected officials. I actually got a good response from one who I won't name because
you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't have to.
I'm not going to pull out a hat and say, "Hey, you better name everybody." Go ahead. All right.
I think she has done a decent job.
Okay.
I think her problem is she's somewhat disconnected from the real base of the community.
Wow.
She's surrounded by a lot of people who are, I would call them party holdovers. And I think part of what she should have done was broaden her base of people to whom she listened with respect to her urban agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's in for a tough fight because there is some level of disconnect. And now the transparency issues are starting to pop up. Oh, this whole big issue about don't travel to Florida, stay out of Florida.
Right.
But then we found out you traveled to Florida, and now you're on a private jet. Well, you didn't pay for it. I mean, all these things, when you're going into a tough re-election, you don't need those kind of issues.
Right.
So I'll give her a B.
B. Okay, but that's good.
That's a B. I mean, you can't. She had a once in a lifetime pandemic to deal with.
Yeah, and
there was
everybody went through it.
There was no easy answer.
Yeah.
Shut it down. I mean, I was an early proponent. Shut it down. I think the only thing I would criticize performance is that you had the opportunity to take this event and really catapult the issue of health equity and fairness to the forefront. I think you could have held the hospital operators to a much higher standard. You could have introduced some healthy programs for living in the state of Michigan to kind of get people healthy, because we saw the impact that COVID had on our community.
Yeah.
People have a lot of underlying conditions that they just simply weren't addressing, and we've got to get healthy in Michigan, which means you got to get your shot too.
Yeah. We was talking about that. I thought she was going to ask the question.
Yeah.
Inspire me to get the shot. I talked to my aunt.
Right.
She got the shot.
Okay.
My uncle, he got the shot.
Right.
I don't know about my father. I got to call him.
You got to call him and ask him.
Yeah, but I'm waiting. I'm not rushing, but inspire me to take the shot.
I think it's a question of keeping yourself protected. It's sort of like, I don't say it's no different than putting your seatbelt on in a car when you drive your car, but it is akin to that. That this is a function of us being able to protect ourselves and protect our families. I mean, you got a son, you want to be around to see him.
Yeah.
I think that's the best encouragement I can give you, man.
Okay.
You got your son, you need to see him grow up.
And I want to see him grow up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 10.
That'll help.
Okay. Wow.
Got to do it.
All right. Well, before we go to commercial break, I'm going to ask you, when I say their name, what's the first thing that come to your mind?
All right.
Coleman Young Sr.,
Outstanding leader.
President Obama,
Leader, middle of the road leader.
Is somebody's phone ringing? Oh, I'm hearing things. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Let's get your shot.
Oh, you got jokes.
You got COVID.
You got jokes. Don King.
Oh, man. Brilliant entrepreneur, promoter. Guy was one of the best, man. Cat was outstanding. He controlled the industry that we had been locked out of.
Yeah.
He forced his way in the room and then did it on his terms.
Yeah.
You have to respect that.
Okay. All right. We will be back after this commercial break. And if you want to call in, the number is 248-854-9850.
SF Hardy presents Dancing Monkeys in My Soup. While on vacation in Peru, Jabbar discovers pygmy marmosets dancing in his dinner suit.
There's something in it.
Leaving the family alarmed and confused. They don't know how to get the monkeys out of the soup. Do you? SF Hardy, literacy advocate, author, and founder of Get Litty Family Reading Readiness Program, presents Dancing Monkeys in My Soup.
You've already watched every movie on every streaming service and still craving more drama, intrigue, romance, and suspense? You can stay home and get transported to another great adventure. Author Sylvia Hubbard has a series of stories that will definitely draw you in and have you craving more. With over 50 titles like Secrets, Lies, and Family Ties, He Touched Me, Black's Innocence, and Deceptive Nights, you are sure to find something for everyone. From her short story ebooks to her novels to her exciting Choose Your Own Adventure site where you direct the action. Check out sylviahubbard.com and begin your exciting new adventure today.
Everyone has a path they must choose. For Kai, it's true love or the life she's always known. Lies, deceit, money, and murder. Against the Grain by Kimberly Kiss. Would you go against the grain?
Passion, romance, sex, sin, pain, and death. Love unexpected. When you think you know your partner, think again.
No, it's on you. Welcome back. There you go, boy. Producers, engineers just want to tell me what to do, what to say. I'm not bought. Nobody tell me what to do or say. This is the Laugh and Giggle Show, episode 41. Now
41.
go ahead.
Too bad I waited another show. I would have been 42. That would have put me in line with Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Okay, go ahead. She got a question. Go ahead.
It's a question regarding our youth of today. Basically, they are our future. And so a lot of things that it's like more of a two-part question.
Okay.
Because of the bill that just passed regarding the Asian Americans.
Yeah.
And then
it's amazing how quick that got passed, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Right.
And the other, as far as, you know, because of so much crime and death regarding
gun violence.
Correct. And in our black youth.
Yes.
What kind of encouragement, and as mayor candidate, what would you say to them?
Well, as your future mayor of Detroit, we've got to first of all give our young men hope. They are living, I think, almost in hopeless times because they don't believe that they can ever really be a part of the mainstream. A lot of our young men never get out of their own environment. They are limited within the geographical area. Whether you live on the east side or the west side, they are who they are. And we've got to first inspire them to understand that you have value, that you also have to respect the value of the life of the person who you may be beefing with. Because the value of humanity, we've got to see the humanity in one another. I don't think we see that because we wouldn't have the epidemic levels of gun violence that we have in our community. So we got to be about hope and aspiration. But we also have to be about proactive means of helping people. We got to have prehabilitation, which is different than rehabilitation. Prehabilitation means I go out and I say, hey, John, I know you have an issue. I know you might be involved in gang life. These are the things I can do to help you move your life forward. If I can show you a pathway to being a productive citizen, would you take it? If I can show you a way that you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder every day when you go out on the street, would you take it? I've got to be in a position to show you those types of things and provide you with the resources then, the wraparound services to help make those things happen. Because if I'm giving you the opportunity to move forward, I'm also helping you with other things that you may have. You may have outstanding warrants, outstanding tickets. How do I bring all this together at one time? Because we don't want to go back and forth. We want to help you move forward with your life and do things in a positive manner.
We have a caller. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, this 6'4". I get a
Hey,
question.
what's up, 6'4"? He do a show over here too.
6'4".
Go ahead, sir.
Well, but you know, I'm riding with Anthony Adams, man. I'm riding with him, and I so hate when people call in and he on other shows and disrespect him, calling him Tony like they know him and shit.
Oh wow, people done did that to you?
Man, you just have to embrace it all.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when people call in, they're really seeking information. They just don't know how to go about doing it in the right way. So I'm a veteran, man. I'm not thin-skinned about these things. I'm trying to get the information out so people can support me.
Okay. What's your question, Mr. 6'4"?
Well, here's my thing, right? I've been looking at the business community here in Detroit. And I am firmly of the mindset that they are misusing and abusing the 911 system. They the reason why the cops be pulling up to these stores and killing these people because they calling them on for non-emergency reasons.
Yes.
What could we do? What can the community do to drive a wedge between that? Because they can't keep calling the police and using our as proxy security guards. I know you got to feel silly. You got 9 police officers pulling up at some Family Dollar because somebody out there begging for $1.
Yeah. Well, that's part of when I'm talking about how we change how we police ourselves. That's one of the areas that we do. We're obviously going to move away from the reliance upon the green light technology, which gives priority access to police calls to businesses that have green light system, because I don't think that's fair. We have citizens in the city who demand and deserve priority service as well. So we're probably going to scrap this green light situation and go back to providing calls for service that are necessary. What we also have to do is change how we police incidents like a person begging in front of a dollar store. Quite frankly, that doesn't need a police officer to do. I've called for the creation of what I say are community intervention specialists. People who are actually designed homeless advocates, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health professionals to deal with a lot of the issues that the police are being asked to do. When I said one day, I said the police actually are asked to do too much. Yeah. And that's what I meant. They're doing things that somebody else could do it. But now you telling me somebody got a gun in front of the dollar, then the police got to come to that. I can't send the homeless advocate to that.
Right.
But we've got to take a look at how we answer our calls for service, what's important, how do we begin to train and re-educate the people in the city about how to use the 911 system. We got people that call EMS, that's their transportation service to get to a hospital when they may not necessarily need EMS service at that point.
All right, Mr. 6'4", we got to go to another caller. Thanks for calling in, sir.
Yep.
Caller, you on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Carmen. Just had a couple of questions.
How you doing, Miss Carmen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I'm going to ask them, then I'm going to hang up so that I can hear your answer.
Okay.
But one of the first questions I wanted to ask you was the overtaxing in the city of Detroit concerning, property and, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The second question I wanted to ask, how would you overhaul the Detroit Land Bank?
Yeah.
Because what I'm noticing is you have a lot of people outside of the city buying up property. And when the individuals in the city try to purchase property around their parents' property or property, they can't get it because they're outbidded.
Yeah, so those are first of all, those are two great questions. Mm-hmm. First of all, when we talk about the issue of the overtaxation, part of the problem is how we actually assess property in the city of Detroit. And what we know from studies that were done by the University of Chicago, Professor Bernadette Atahene, was clearly documented that properties at the lower end of the spectrum are actually overtaxed, whereas properties at the higher end of the spectrum are undertaxed. And so what we have to do is we have to begin to equalize our tax burden so that people who live at the lower levels of the spectrum get a fair property tax assessment. Part of how I would deal with that, obviously, is the people need to come in and we need to be reviewing people's assessments on how they're being taxed. Normally, the process is that people have to apply for a review, but I think we've got to be much more proactive and go in certain neighborhoods where we know overtaxation has occurred in order to equalize and even out the tax burden and then identify different credits or programs that people may qualify for that they're not even taking advantage of. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of programs on the books that people don't necessarily know about or aren't taking advantage of, and I think we've got to be and do a better job of letting people know what those are and then helping them through the process. As it relates to the land bank by law cannot be abolished until 2024.
Okay, wow, didn't know that.
Well, and so what we have to do is we first of all got a completely clean house over there. A lot of the people in the land bank are party loyalists. I'm going to leave it. And that's a nice term, but there are a lot of political hacks in the land bank that are administering the program. Far too many residents in our city are not able to get the side lot. We're going to eliminate the BS in that, and we're going to get people those side lots. Mm-hmm. Why are we giving the people who live here a problem getting land and allowing some outside investor to come in and buy up whole neighborhood, and the people who live here can't get a thing? So we're going to change that because we're going to hold people responsible to do what they're supposed to do, which is get the land first in the hands of the person who lives by the vacant land. And if there's a person on that block that wants to buy the vacant house and rehab it, then let's get it to them. Mm-hmm. And if there's no one here that wants to do that, then maybe we will open up for some investors to come in. But we have to also begin to create more home ownership. You can't come in and buy up all the property in the city and then have everybody renting from you forever. Mm-hmm. I'm a strong believer in home ownership. We got to build wealth, and we have to do that by making sure that people have a right to buy a home at some point in time in the future.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me get these three things in, then I'm going to hang up.
Okay.
Let's talk about the police commissioner.
Yes.
They do more arguing and bickering and disrespecting each other where nothing can get done. That's one. The youth centers, opening those youth centers back up, especially around the schools, so that instead of children being home by themselves until their parents get home from work, they can be at these after-school programs in those centers. And then let's talk about tearing down abandoned houses. I appreciate you. I'll let you go so you can answer. All
right. So the police commission has operated almost as an extension of the chief of police.
Right.
To a certain extent, there probably needs to be a little more bickering because most of the commissioners have been very pro-police. And I'm not against the police, but when you're serving an oversight responsibility, you should do your job. And that means you aren't necessarily buddies with the police officers because you obviously have to evaluate their performance. And so I think we need to elect good police commissioners. He has a slate of people that he's running. There are slates out there. I mean, guys like Willie Burton, who I respect because he at least is an independent voice in the wilderness over there. So I have to respect that. Mm-hmm. So we got to have better commissioners. Youth centers are a major problem in the city of Detroit.
Why is that?
Because most of them are closed. And a lot of them have been sold to private owners. Mm-hmm. UAD bought one. I mean, there's been a lot of transition of property for people that are connected with the mayor. Mm-hmm. Let's just call it what it is. And we got to reverse that. We have to begin to reopen and allow for our schools to work much more closer in our recreational facilities. But we also have another hidden jewel where kids can go. It's our library system.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, and you would walk home from school before your mama got home, you tell your boy, you better go to the library. And then when you think I'm home, then you bring your butt home. And we got a beautiful library system. Joanne Modani is just an outstanding library professional. But part of the reason that the libraries aren't open is because the administration is holding tax dollars that are properly allocated to our library system. We need to release that money. A community that is not informed, a community that is not educated, is an ill-informed, ill-equipped community to deal with and analyze basic issues about governance and democracy in our city. We're punishing ourselves by taking taxes away from our school, taxes away from our libraries, and not providing what our children and young adults and old folk like me, what they need to do.
Wow. Well,
finally, the tear down the bacon.
Oh yeah. I forgot about houses. That question. Yeah.
So obviously they allocated this $250 million. I was against that proposal because I knew the money wasn't going to be spent right. I think we've got to rededicate and commit ourselves to more rehab. I think it's a job creation strategy behind that we've got to do. I mean, there's certain properties that need to be brought down, but we need to help people keep their property clean.
Yeah.
It's not DPW's responsibility to come pick up in front of your house. And we got to have real conversations. I mean, I ride through a neighborhood one time and I see people, parked on the front grass with the grill in front. I mean, okay, I guess if that's what you do, I'm not forming any judgment. But if I got a neighbor right next to you whose grass is nice and who's trying to do what he needs to do, we need to at least have a conversation about what we can do to help make each other's lives better. We don't have enough conversation because everybody's afraid of their neighbor.
Yeah.
If I say something crazy to my neighbor, it's allowed to be a drive-by. And they ain't got to drive. They just shoot out the window. So we have to have more conversations. And when you don't have a mayor who's connected, then you can't really have these conversations because he ain't never lived over on Calvert in the South. That was my first two-family flat. I lived in the upper flat. I could see Central High School from my window.
Wow.
The lower flat was a guy, Mr. and Mrs. Mann. I think Mr. Mann lived to be like 110.
Wow.
The cat was indestructible. And Mrs. Mann, I think she lived to be like 99.
Wow.
So, I mean, these are the kind of real conversations that we need to have in our community.
Okay, before we go to a commercial break,
sir.
I'm going to ask the question that she touched on, dealing with the young people.
Yeah.
I know when I was younger, I did some stupid stuff.
Some?
But some of the
Giggle
stupid stuff, right, there you go. Some of the stuff they doing now, I don't know. I don't think it's stupid. I think it's just beyond dumb. Running through a stop sign.
Slow down.
Flying through the humps over the speed
People got
humps.
to slow their butts down. And
I don't get that. Yeah.
I wanted to say something else, but I'm being respectful of you. People got to slow down in the city. I have a zero tolerance for
going
people
through
driving
red lights
through our communities. I mean, I was over off of Ohio Street, I think, and people flying down the street like it's Indianapolis 500. Our kids are being killed.
Yeah.
Kids can't play.
Right, doing the donuts.
We gotta have we gotta have a donut track, man. We
gotta do something.
We got all this land in the city.
Freeway.
Shutting down the. But we've been saying that for years.
Yeah, but it seems like it's getting worse because we actually see a lot more of it on social media.
But at the end see it right there happening.
At the end of the day, we know who these riding clubs are. I mean, they got the Crown Vic Club. You got you got a lot of groups in the city of Detroit. We got to have a conversation about how we can do things differently. If you want to speed, then I got to have a place for you to speed.
Yeah.
Why don't we have Detroit International Speedway? Well, Mondays and Tuesdays you're doing donuts, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we doing drag racing.
We need to do something.
We have to.
It's out of control. We got to
take it off the street.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We're gonna do Covert Life Insurance and the trailer for the movie coming out soon, and then we'll be winding down.
All
sir.
right, man.
You survived.
Come on, man.
You survived.
I'm a survivor.
All right.
would you like to have the security of knowing at the end of your life that your loved ones will be taken care of? No problem. The Covert Insurance Group has a solution for you. They offer very affordable life insurance plans, even if you have medical challenges. So give them a call right now, 313-588-0854. Or you can visit their website, www.covertlife.com, and request a free quote for you and your family members now. That's 313-588-0854.
And we are back. He was like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's the movie me and my friend working on." And
Ghetto Dreaming.
Hey, and we going through some drama.
All
so
right.
just pray for our movie.
Come on.
It might come out one day while you mirroring. I'll be like, "Mr. Mirror, can you come down and watch our movie, please?"
We're going to have a grand premiere of Detroit
Right.
movies, which we got so many independent.
We got so many movies
Murder
from
Pain.
Detroit.
I watched that.
And I'm like, we need to showcase
Come
them
on,
more.
man. We
got to do something.
We going to be doing that.
All right, actors and actresses and
all right.
Right. Wow, that's deep. All right, we're going to try to hit a couple things. I know we're running out of time. Who are your political role models, and what's your greatest political achievement?
Oh man, my other than Coleman Young, obviously, because I worked for him as a young executive assistant, 27 years old.
Wow.
But the first guy was a guy by the name of Carl Stokes. Okay. He was the first black mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, which at that time was a predominantly white city.
Okay. Wow.
And through his political brilliance, was able to get elected as the first black mayor of Cleveland. So he was a very sophisticated, but yet connected with the streets, understood what people wanted and what the people needed. So those would be my two political.
All right. And then I still had the names that, let me do this question before we get ready to close out. What are your strengths that the public might not know about? Know or don't know, so you can do both.
I think what they will learn about me is that I'm very reflective. Okay. I like to think about issues, but then once I decide, I'm very decisive.
Okay.
My leadership style is very involving other people. I like to hear people's thought process about why we should do certain things. So I'm very engaging, and I'll call myself a facilitative leader. But I'm not afraid to make the tough decisions, because when you sit in these chairs, sometimes you have to make tough decisions. People just need to understand why you made the decision, and you'll get the benefit of the doubt. But most people, if they understand why you did it.
Okay. And would you be working closely with city council or?
I hope I get a city council like the current guy. Roll over on everything. No, I'm kidding.
There you go. You did laugh. You laughed. You funny.
It would be nice, but I know that when I'm elected mayor, I won't get it.
It's going to be a lot of drama.
We're not going to have drama because my agenda is going to be about the people, and I think the people are going to move my agenda forward. Okay.
All right. Now, this is a tough question, and Richard probably watching. That's the guy who do the sports and everything.
Right.
Under your administration, will you guarantee the Lions go to the Super Bowl?
Oh, my God, man. Listen. Listen.
I had to ask the people. He's talking. Y'all better listen.
The Lions. My wife, she always laughs at me
because you probably one of those Lions fans. That's sad. That's sad.
I brought off the opening day down
my
the Eastern
uncle,
Market.
He got all the souvenirs. He got on the jersey. I say, man, you look like a fool. Every year
we start out with such great hope.
We gonna go. I'm like, yeah, okay,
man.
And I seen the schedule. I think they're gonna be 1-17.
I hope not.
What'd you say? I hope not.
But I always start off the season with high hopes and expectations.
That's sad.
And then about the fifth, and so my wife, she's always laughing. She's like, "Why you keep watching?"
And it's sad. Y'all watch them faithfully every week.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
I just Google the score and say, okay, they lost. Wow. Okay. All right.
Great.
Top 3 singers of all time.
Oh man, I got Marvin Gaye in there.
Yeah.
Did
you buy his album when you was younger?
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Man.
All right. Just want to know.
Oh man, I gotta have Teddy Pendergrass, man.
Yeah,
I like that smooth Philly sound.
Okay.
And I actually like Jaheim.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
kind of neo soul. Yeah,
type.
Yeah. Kind of, those are 3.
Top 3 movies.
Oh man. Shaft would have to be number 1.
The old Shaft or the Samuel? Oh, okay. I like Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, the old
Shaft. Okay.
Black Panther, baby.
Okay.
Come on. That was a transcendent. Actually, I like Hidden Figures, man.
Okay.
I love that movie.
Yeah. I like that better than Black Panther.
Yeah.
So I ain't into I'm not into the comic book stuff.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. But also, actually, I grew up in the days of blaxploitation movies, so I might throw coffee in there.
Okay. Favorite episode of Good Times?
Oh man, God. Shoot. You got me on that one.
Wow, you can't recall one?
There was favorite episode on Good Times. Maybe when the husband died.
Yeah, I think everybody say that one. Yeah,
but he got written out the show because he had a contract dispute.
We know the deal. Yeah, we appreciate you telling us, but to us, we thought James died for real.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. Okay, favorite episode of The Jeffersons?
I think episode number 1. Moving on up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you remember when that came out?
Yeah, I remember. Okay. I remember Archie Bunker too. So.
Yeah. I remember Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker, man. Okay. I remember all those shows, man.
Okay. All right. Best sex position.
Oh, it's got to be from the back, man.
There you go. I got him saying it. All right.
They're going to run he likes it from the back.
Right. That would be crazy. Worst job you ever had?
Oh, man. You know what? I've actually never had a bad job.
Okay. That's good.
I've had actually really good jobs.
That's good. Where did you go to college at?
University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
My major was urban management, urban planning.
Okay.
So I always wanted to be a city manager, professional city manager.
Okay. All right. Last book you read?
Know Your Price.
What is that about?
It's a book about understanding the value of land in predominantly black cities.
Okay. I got to look that up.
And the whole thesis is that we live at the undervalued land. Mm-hmm. And then we saw recently the lady in Indianapolis who took all the black pictures out of her house and had a white person standing for her. And her appraisal was like $250,000. When she was black, it was $100,000.
Yeah, I did see that. That's
Exactly.
Okay, I don't know if you know about this, but you could try Power or Snowfall.
Oh man, God!
Do you watch them?
Come on, man.
Okay, all right, you hip. Okay, it's on you.
You know what? The old side of me says Power, but the new side says Snowfall.
Snowfall is good, though. I tell people that was our era. Tyler Perry or Dolomite?
Oh, man, Dolomite. Come on, man. I can't deal with no Tyler Perry, man.
Last question, and I want to thank you for coming down. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Run.
That's right.
All right.
All
where
right.
your office at? Let them know where your office at.
Office is at 19512 Livernois. Website is Anthony Adams for Mayor, FOR, AnthonyAdamsForMayor.com.
If they want to donate.
If they want to donate, go to that
them,
website.
Cash app you, whatever.
Whatever. My last thing is I ran an ad said put 5 on it. You know?
Hey, that's good.
Put 5 on it. AA313 Detroit, Instagram, Twitter. You know, I'm very active.
Okay.
My Cash App, I had to say I don't.
You don't know it?
I don't remember it, man.
If you text it to me, I'll put it up on the show.
I appreciate you, man.
And we'll send it out.
I've enjoyed this, man.
Okay. Well, last question. One last question.
One more. Okay.
The scene or the new dance show?
Oh, come on, man. It's got to be the scene, man.
Captain Geek, Nat Morris. And you know he's still around. He's still around.
Man.
I want to thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Run.
Run to win.
When is election day?
Primaries, August the 3rd. And then we narrow it down to November the 2nd.
So you're going to be first or second in the primary?
Hey, man,
you taking one of the two? One of the two.
I'm finishing on top.
Oh, okay. You taking
There's
first.
no such thing as second in my mind.
All right.
And then November the 3rd, we're gonna set the equipment up in the office.
Okay.
And we're gonna do our thing.
All right.
Once again.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, man.
And I'm going to work on getting my shot. Please keep praying for me.
I'm gonna pray for you because remember you got that son.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We out. The Laugh and Giggle Show.
All right, man.